Hey, Red Earth team. Good morning. This is Matt Ham. I'm the co-founder of Uprint, and as we announced last week, Uprint and Red Earth are in a partnership where I have the privilege and honor of coming alongside you guys as a way to help equip you and encourage you toward excellence for the organization. So over the next few months, we're going to be doing weekly conference calls. We're going to be doing videos like this, and really just invite you guys to participate, kind of here for you to help you guys kind of move in the direction that you would desire to, right? And that's what we do organizationally. And John has a great vision for the culture of this organization, and we're just here to help facilitate that. So we are live in the studios here at Red Earth Marketing in Wilmington, and we're working on putting this together. Have had a little bit of a lump as far as learning the new technologies and getting all the microphones set up and so forth, but it's all progressing very well. I'm recording this because the conference call we did yesterday did not record. So I'm re-recording it so you guys can check it out and kind of get a feel for what our Tuesday conference calls are going to be like. We plan to do them every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Jump on as you're able, interact as you desire, and then we will provide the replay for anybody who's not able to make it. Try to keep it to 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. And then every Thursday we're going to do a more topical kind of direct video, and here for one-to-one engagement as needed. Going to be doing some quarterly stuff. Hope to see you guys, meet you in person. But the first thing I wanted to really share with you guys is John has made my book available to each of you. And I just shipped those out earlier this week. I think the Pennsylvania folks got them already. Alabama's are on the way. And anyone else who's watching, we're working on getting these to you. This book, Redefine Rich, was really kind of miraculous that it happened. I mean, I'm a NC State graduate, and I graduated in interpersonal communication. I'm not a literary major or anything like that. But I was so it was so impressed upon my heart that I needed to write this book. And as I tell folks, I ended up writing it for me. I was a 32-year-old dad to three, running an insurance agency, trying to start an insurance business. And it was so many demands on my life, so much pressure, with the production requirements that we had. And I mean, you guys know, you're in sales. It can be tough. And I was professionally successful at the time. But personally, I was really wrestling with some things. And so one of the passions of my heart is to help folks understand that professional success does not trickle down to make a great life. In fact, a great life is personally established, and then professional success is birthed out of that. And so it's a kind of a different way of looking at it than the American way of hamster wheel and work hard and hustle and all that kind of stuff. Instead, just become who you've been created to be at peace, be centered. People call it balanced, all these different types of things. And that is the foundation of a rich life or a successful life. So I share the book with you guys. Don't expect you to read it or anything, but would hope that you would. The stories are inspiring. It'll give you a little bit of a window into my heart, who I am, so that we can dive in together. So that being said, I wanted to focus today on our first call, this concept of your life's blueprint. Now, our organization is called Uprint, and that was really birthed out of the idea of a blueprint. And here's the deal. You guys are in development, building, construction. No house can be built without a blueprint. Well, I'll take that back. You could probably build a house without a blueprint, but what's going to happen is your walls are off. They're not quite square, or you didn't, have anything to go by, so this measurement's off. And what ends up happening if you don't have a blueprint is you build a house of cards. It's a house that will collapse because it can't withstand its own structure, because it was not built with integrity from a ground up foundation up. Well, listen, the same is true of our lives. If we don't have a blueprint for our life, we might get busy building our house, so to speak, and building our life until that diagnosis comes, or until that difficult relationship, or until financial difficulties, or until addictions, or whatever it is that causes the life to crumble. And we get buried underneath the weight of that. So to help people avoid the catastrophe, we help establish a healthy blueprint. Now, the interesting thing, this is not a one size fits all. If you guys are in development sales, hey, this is the Stevenson model, or this is the Harrison, and the Harrison can be modified slightly and put on any lot. That's not what this is about. This is about a custom built blueprint for your life. And that's what we help do. So with this concept of blueprint, I'm going to challenge us kind of kicking off today. And the first question I want to challenge you with is, what is your life's blueprint? Now, the interesting piece is, whether you realize it or not, your life has a blueprint. You are living by a current set of mindsets, beliefs, organization, and structure. Even if it's your hair on fire, that's still a blueprint for your life. And so pause for a second and understand, what is your blueprint? What is the kind of foundation that you're building your life's house upon? The second question is this: where did that blueprint come from? Now, this is a powerful question, because a lot of the work that we do organizationally is one-to-one executive coaching and mentoring with individuals. And almost always, folks are bringing their past into their present and letting it dictate their future. Now, your past is a great teacher, but it is a terrible navigator, if you will. What I mean by that is this. So many folks, maybe they grew up in poverty. In fact, I was talking with a guy yesterday, and he said, I've got a friend who grew up in poverty, who did really well, who made a lot of money, sold a business, and he's got mountain houses and beach houses. He's got a Ferrari in his garage, and he's 50-some years old, and now he's wondering, what's his life about? And, I'm not placing any judgment on this individual, but this is very common, where folks have a poverty mindset from their past. So they're going to say, I'm not going to live that way. And so they hustle and strive and work and bust it to do everything that they can to not live in poverty, to realize that they actually are living in spiritual poverty, because they have all the material things of the world, but their life is not whole. And so that's a real thing that we see quite often. And knowing where your blueprint came from is important. We deal with a lot of folks, like, you had parents that told you were never good enough, or they didn't express love or value or appreciation, or you had a teacher who told you you're going to be a failure, or a coach. There's all of these moments in our past that have shaped who we are today. And they can be healthy and they can be good. But if we're living from that stronghold, from that past, chances are we're not moving toward the future that was created for us. And think of it this way. So many people are busy running away from something that they don't care what they're running toward. And so are you someone who is running away from something, or are you someone who's running toward something? You see, you got to get honest about these blueprints for your life that you create, because if you're running away from something, chances are you're not necessarily going where you need to. You're just happy to get away from that thing. So it's healthy to understand your past, but you also need to be free from it and know what blueprint you're building your life on and where it came from to overcome some of those obstacles, so you can start heading in a certain direction with who you've been made to be, okay? And the final thing is you might say, well, Matt, this is kind of in the clouds, or what are you talking about, blueprints and all this stuff, but here's my question for you. You have a blueprint for your life. It came from somewhere, and here's the third question. How is it working? How's it working? So often when I engage with folks, I just ask them that simple question. How's it working? And what we find is that people are living stressed. They're living exhausted. They're living frustrated. They're living in a constant busyness mindset. And it's not working. But they're not taking the time to consider anything different. So they just stay in the hamster wheel. They just stay in the race. They stay in the grind. And so what I want to do with you guys and help you with is help establish a healthy blueprint corporately, but also individually for you guys, so you can begin to step into this and hopefully bring the change that you desire to the organization and to your lives personally. It's a very holistic approach. It's not just about sales and success and money. It's not just about health and fitness, which is all important. It's not just about spirituality. It's not just about emotional health. It's about all of it. It's a holistic approach to living in the fullest expression of who you were created to be. So this is a great way to start with the blueprint idea. Now, that being said, what I want to focus on today as a starting point is creating a healthy routine. Now, again, whether you realize it or not, you are living from a routine in your life. Now, I'm not talking about the guy that wakes up every morning at 6:55 a.m. and he's got his coffee on the automatic set and he's got the, Wall Street Journal that he reads and he, walks 2 miles around the block or whatever. That's fine. I'm not talking about being that rigid with your routine. I'm talking about the routine of your heart. Okay? Now follow me with this because this is important. Here's the question. How do you start your day? How do you begin each day? Now, I know for me personally, a number of years ago when I was, kind of building my insurance agency within our organization, I had 3 small kids. And most nights I'd come home, get the kids to bed, I'd stay up on the couch answering emails, making a plan for the next day, and I'd kind of crash on the couch, binge watching Netflix, and I'd wake up at 7:30 a.m. knowing that I had to be at the office at 8. My hair was on fire, the kids' lunch didn't get made, the dog had peed on the floor because I didn't take him out, and it was just this toxic, stressful environment to start off each day. And I found myself stressed from the very get-go each and every day. Not healthy. Now think of it this way. Your life and your body, your person, like all of this is how about this Hall & Oates shirt? Isn't that incredible? I'm a huge Hall & Oates fan. But your life is this, think of your life as this soil, like the energy that is you, your persona, your mind, your heart, all this. It's soil that can bear and yield fruit in your life. But if the soil is toxic, it is going to affect the fruit that is born. Instead, if your soil is healthy, then it bears good fruit, right? And so if you wake up each day stressed and in a toxic environment, getting in arguments, running out the door, it's going to bear bad fruit in your life. And so what is a healthy routine to kind of dive into? That's the question. What is a healthy routine to dive into? Now, I will use the Bible a lot for a teaching reference. Again, to be clear, this is a faith-minded approach. We call it faith in business, but it's not about the religious aspect. So this is less about, what you believe and trying to convince you or prove to you something and just sharing truth from this scripture, this book that's been here for gracious thousands of years and has influenced incredible change and transformation in the culture. If you look at Harriet Tubman, who helped be a part of eradicating slavery, or if you look at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who helped eradicate racial tension in America, these folks were motivated, and many others, by this biblical truth. And so that's why we use it and hope that it provides some context for you guys in your daily life, because I believe it has in mine, I know from experience. So that's why I use it. That being said, we learn that Jesus had a routine. Now, I'm talking about Jesus as a man, as a dude who was leading a movement, who changed the world. If you look back from a rabbi born in Nazareth to someone who is, worldwide, essentially known worldwide. And it says, this is Mark chapter 1, verse 35, and rising very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus departed and went out to a desolate place, and there he prayed. Here's this man waking up early while it's still dark and going to be alone and praying. Now, that practice of aloneness is something that many, many folks, I'm talking successful folks in our culture, that they practice. But here we have it from Jesus. So this is a great example of where this isn't just some guru's 5 points to a better life. This is actually deep truth on how you can begin each day. And so the question is do you ever have alone time in your life? Do you ever create margin or space for being alone in a desolate place while it's still dark, And I have people telling me, I'm not a morning person, I'm a night person, whatever. That's fine. I was the same way. About 5 years ago, I began rising early and going on what I would call prayer walks. And it would just be time in quiet and peace and stillness where I would be praying and meditating and listening. I would be in the Word and begin to kind of envision the day. And so there's 3 practical steps that you can take to begin each day that I think will give you a healthy routine to start off with. And it can kind of be the birthplace of stepping into your blueprint, your future, etc. Number 1 is I would encourage you to spend 10 minutes in the Word each day. Now, again, a lot of folks go, well, the Bible's difficult, all this kind of stuff. There's so many resources out there that can get you into deep spiritual truth. So there's plenty of ways to access this. The point is this isn't about reading the latest bestseller on the New York Times list. It's actually searching out the deep truth underneath it all, the foundational piece. And for me, that's spending 10 minutes in the Word. But it's not just about reading a Bible verse. It's actually about inserting yourself into the story. So take Jesus, for example. He's got crowds of people following him, tons of stress and pressure. He's being opposed by the local religious leaders and government officials, and yet he wakes up early and he goes to be alone while it's dark outside, and he sits and prays. Where he was, it would have been really cold. It would have been very inconvenient. He would have had to have walked there more than likely. So picture this story of kind of the sacrifice and the mindset that this man had as he entered into this time of prayer. He was very committed to it, very dedicated to it, surrendered to it. And so that's where I would say spend 10 minutes in the Word. We actually have created a resource that I want to plug you guys into where we send encouragement right to your device each and every day. I sent out an email earlier this week asking folks for your phone number. That's why I need that. So if you'll send me your phone number, I can get you plugged into those texts and we'll get that rolling. But it's just a way to start with something powerful, so deep truth, meditate on it, and then revisit it throughout your day as needed. The second thing I think each day needs to have is a time of prayer and meditation, right? Now, this isn't, oh, Lord, beg me, help me with this sale. It's not begging. It's a mode of your posture of thanksgiving and joy. So it's a thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this meeting that we're going to have later. Thank you for victory in the day ahead. Thank you for the provision that you've already had. Thank you for the breath in my lungs. Thank you for this family that you've given me. Thank you for whatever it is. Thanksgiving and praise is a great way to start your foundation because it helps cultivate that healthy soil. And so you need to spend some time in that each morning in your routine. And then finally, this is a practice that we call paint your target. Think if you put an archer out there and you put a blindfold over him and you spun him around and then you had him fire. The likelihood of him hitting the target is millions to one, right? Very unlikely. However, that's how we approach most days. It's kind of getting up blindfolded, running around, and we don't actually paint the target that our life is aiming at. Okay, so this is a practice that we teach, and we can dive into more one-to-one in some of the videos. But when you get a puzzle, the first thing you do is open the box and you put the top of the box up so you can see the picture, right? Well, the Bible says without a vision, the people perish. And so the question is are you spending time visioning out your life, envisioning your good future? Like everything from how you want to spend your time with hobbies to the goals that you have at work, to the relationships that you're a part of, to the legacy that you want to leave, to what you want to do with the resources that you're given. All of these things are part of this vision of your life. And it's not just a vision board where you cut out a Range Rover and put it on the thing. This is more about the desires of your heart, who you are holistically as a person, who you want to become, and begin to envision that. Begin to envision that. Actually paint your target and visit your good future. A couple of years ago, I had a vision of speaking at a TEDx event, and yet I had applied 3 times and I had been denied. Now, recently, I think John shared a video of my TEDx talk, and that's something that I was able to do last April. But that began years ago with actually envisioning myself on that stage, seeing the faces in the crowd, hearing the kind of the room and really visiting that place and pausing and going there, believing that God and I had the same goal, that desire of my heart was placed there by Him, and that if I would envision it and trust that would actually come to fruition. And so it may seem hokey to some, but I'm just telling you from experience, this is how you begin to create the future that God's placed on your heart. You envision it, you step into it with excitement, with joy, with courage, and that's how you begin to live in that mode each day, where you wake up, spend some time in the Word, spend some time in prayer and meditation, thanksgiving, joy, envision your future, and then begin to step into it. And so, again, this is a starting point for us. There's a lot to dive into here, but I thought this was a healthy way for us to begin about really questioning what blueprint we're building our life on, and where it came from, and how it's working. And from there, really making an assessment, saying, okay, let's start with a healthy routine to begin moving us toward a better place and toward the future that we desire. And I believe that is the case, and it can be done. And so look forward to standing with you guys in any way possible. We're here for you. As I said, get me your phone number so we can send out these texts. But we're going to do this call once a week. As I said, 20, 25 minutes each time. And then we're going to do some more topically focused videos every Thursday. So yeah, we're just getting going here. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipe. You've got this, guys, as a resource to you. Imagine this. John has put a buffet of faith and personal development items available to you. You just have to go up to the buffet and pick out what you want. That's what we're here for. You don't have to eat it. You can bypass it and keep on down the road. But I hope that you would, because there's some incredible stuff here that I think can transform each of you individually, because excellent companies and cultures are built of excellent individuals. And so we want to build up the excellence in this culture by helping each of you become more excellent in your own lives. So look forward to connecting. You guys keep being awesome. Have a great week, and we will be in touch.